Hi guys. Thanks for coming to my first live video. I came a bit early actually. I just tried to work it all out, but I think it's working. So I'm just setting up. I'm using gouache today, Winsor and Newton gouache paint. I find it's kind of in between watercolor and acrylic. I can kind of gauge how thick I want it to be, whether I add water or keep it thicker. So I find it easier to use than watercolor. Watercolor, I feel, kind of spreads along the page and ends up really messy when I do it. So it's nearly 10:30, but my phone's going a bit crazy, so I might go get him. But I'll be back. So what are we working on today? Does anyone have anything to work on? Baking a cake. That sounds good. I'm not a baker myself. So I've drawn these up. I drew them up yesterday. they're sort of, I live in Jindabyne, New South Wales, and they're sort of, I was thinking of like postcards or posters, like touristy posters. So they're quite basic, the sketches, and I just wanted to add some color and make some prints. So I will just go ahead. I might do Jindabyne first, just because I know it very well without a reference. So I thought I'd do this live because YouTube is harder than it might seem. I've struggled to, like, I'll film a lot of things and then end up over editing or overthinking and not actually post anything. So I thought if it's live, then I can't do that. It's already done. And I thought it was a good idea to have people join me. But I am getting used to it, I think. Knowing what kind of things I want to film. So I like to layer up the artwork. So I'll usually start with some gouache to add color. Then I might use some pigment liners. I like kind of darker outlines usually. So I'll go in with those. And then after that, when it's all dry, I usually add some colored pencil as well, just to add a bit more interest in another layer. So it's a bit of a process, but I enjoy it. I might just swap paintbrushes. Because I layer it up so much with different colors and media, I'm not overly concerned about staying in the lines necessarily. The lines are kind of just a guide, so I know what I'm trying to achieve. But yeah, it all comes together eventually. You can probably hear my pet in the background. I have a cat, Nugget, and a dog, Tony. Tony is a husky. They get along all right, but they do get a bit close sometimes. As you probably see, my art supplies aren't really fancy. I like to use pretty much anything that you typically throw away. I try and use in my studio. So I have an old cloth, whoops, wrong color, cloth here for my wipe my paintbrushes down rather than a paper towel. It's also handy if I put too much water on the page, I can kind of soak it up a little bit with that. I also keep my paints in an old takeaway container, and I use the lid for my palette. I find it's really easy to wash, and once it's really dead, I can throw it away, but I've given it sort of more of a lifespan. I also love jars. My partner gets frustrated because I keep every jar we have, but this one I actually got from the op shop, and it's the perfect shape because my water doesn't spill. So I think there's lots of supplies out there that are kind of pricey, but I don't think you need them necessarily. Just use what you can afford and what you have. And yeah, my studio is also in my lounge room, so it's just a desk in the corner. So you don't really need a fancy space. I used to not really make much because I thought if I had a studio or a window or something, then I'd be able to paint. In reality, that's kind of just an excuse. So you just have to make do and use what you already have, really.
As I said earlier, I'm using Winsor and Gouache paint. I'm also using a Strathmore mixed media sketchbook. I was quite reluctant to buy it actually because it's quite expensive, but I finally invested in one, and honestly, it's the best sketchbook I've ever had. It just holds pretty much anything I want to use, from markers to paint to watercolors, pastels, pencil. It's a really versatile sketchbook, so I don't have to worry about the the paper warping too much or not holding what I'm trying to use. So I would highly recommend it. It is worth the investment. And my paintbrushes are kind of just a mix match of, I don't really have any expensive brushes. They're just kind of just ones I've picked up from here and there. Hi, Rowanna. Thanks for coming.
I thought I'd also talk about what I'm reading at the moment. I love reading. Also, always a bit of a pile, whether it's actual physical books or I also have an Audible account. So between them, I probably read about 6 books at a time. I kind of feel like it's like watching different TV shows. Hi Tony. You don't have to. I don't know. You can follow different TV shows all at once. So it kind of depends how I'm feeling. But I'm reading The Morbids by Ramsey, and it's interesting. I put it down for about 2 months. I started it in October last year. I've recently picked it up again. And it's based in Sydney, which I really enjoy because that's where I grew up. So it's based in, a lot of it is around like Balmain sort of area, which I can relate to, which I enjoy. It's an interesting storyline. The main character is in some accident at some point. It doesn't really say early on what the accident is, but causes her to contemplate death like all the time. So ends up going to a support group, and they call them the Morbids, and they just pretty much talk about all the crazy ways you could die in a day. So I guess it could be hard to hear content for some people, but considering it's quite heavy, it's written really in an easy way to take in, I guess. I'm reading that, and it's just kind of just gotten interesting again. I've recently picked it back up. I'm also reading on Audible, A Life Less Throwaway by Tara Button, and it's actually Tara reading it on Audible, which I enjoy. I think when the author reads their own book, it kind of adds another element to the recording. And it's really interesting. It's about sustainable living and trying to buy things once rather than following trends and having things break and replacing them over and over again. Trying to, just invest in quality and keeping it for as long as possible. It has lots of journal prompts and questions to consider, and just trying to work out your own values and what is essential in your life and what you could probably live without. So then you can try and work out what you actually need to buy rather than following the latest trends. So I found that quite interesting. I've journaled my whole life since I was 13, so it's always good to have some new things to consider. And last one that I'm really reading at the moment is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I tutor a few kids, and one of their reading books in Year 7 is Harry Potter. And I haven't really read Harry Potter in the past. My sister read the first one to me before the movie came out, and that's really the only one I read. So it's quite nice to read it again. I keep having flashbacks to when she was reading it to me, and Yeah, it's quite nice, and it's actually obviously really well written. It's very popular, but like because I haven't really read many of them. It's kind of like new to me, sort of. So that's pretty much dry. I'm gonna add some colored pencils. The topic of books, I've been trying to sort out my to-read list. I'm on Goodreads, which is easy to track after you've read something, but I haven't really worked out a way to track what I want to read. So I've ended up, I'm not concentrating, what am I doing? I'll start up here. I've ended up writing on notebook. Is it notebook? OneNote. Just a list of all the books I want. And I've also, because I'm studying, I've also categorized them into different sections because I'm doing teaching. So there are a lot of them are young adult. I also have a few picture books. So when I'm trying to keep them all in my head, it gets quite complicated. But yeah, we'll see how it works. My pencil case, the tin you mean, I'm assuming, is the Faber Castell 120 Polychromos color pencils. I got it for my birthday 2 years ago. Yeah, it was like the best present I ever got. Opening a big box of pencils. It has 3 layers. So pretty much any color I could possibly want. It's a bit wet still, I think. been using this sort of layering technique for a year, not that long. So it's kind of still a bit experimental, but I got the idea from Lee Ellickson. She's on YouTube. I also have her on Patreon. And she, yeah, just layers up her artwork with lots of different, yeah, so. That bit's still a bit wet, so I might have to come back to it. because I layer over paint a lot, I find that it dries out the tip of the pen. So I have to swap them over quite a bit, which is a bit annoying, but it's just something I've learnt to work with. Put my hand in the paint, but okay, I can fix it. I'm not good at waiting for things to dry. I find it kind of irritating. I find that if I don't get something done in like one sitting, then I don't know, I get bored and struggle to come back to it. So well, this one did have a pencil drawing first. I often just go straight in and just go straight in with either paint or pen. Yeah, it's only recently I even bought a new pencil. I'm using a mechanical pencil, just so it stays sharp. I think mistakes add character to the artwork, so I'm never too concerned if something's wrong. If I really hate it, I can usually fix it up anyway. So. We are coming up to an hour, so I guess I will leave it there for now. I wanted to thank a few of you. I can see you follow me on Patreon, and I'd just like to say a huge thank you. Patreon really supports me in this business. Mostly it changed my mindset. I used to make a whole bunch of products and just sit there, but now, and that, like, it didn't matter. I still have lots of products that sit there, but just mentally it kind of drains you a little bit, because you think, you know, why do I keep making things? It's just cluttering up my house. But now Patreon, I know that people are waiting for my products. So I guess the biggest change for me would be the mindset about making art. And it's actually helping me experiment a bit more and just keep making. So thank you if you are a follower of mine. I really appreciate it. And if not, thanks for joining me for this hour of painting. And yeah, I guess I'll show my face now. So thanks for joining me, and I will do this again soon. See you.